I'm so happy to actually come and see on how we actually coming to raise out our issues.
Seated in front of an official from the Commission on Administrative Justice is a bold and courageous Charles Kimiti, very keen to express the tussle he has faced in the recent past while searching for justice that he is yet to get.
Surprised to come and see one of our very own.
It's a legal free aid clinic, an initiative by the National Council for Persons Living with Disabilities in collaboration with the Commission on Administrative Justice and FIDE Kenya, aimed at enabling people with disability access legal aid.
Because of poverty associated with disability, we tend not to access justice. That is, getting a legal representation is too expensive. So when such a legal aid clinic is organized, people with disability tends to come in their numbers because it is free, and again, they get advice free of charge.
Harun Hassan, the executive director for NCPWD, says the program seeks to bring justice close to people living with a disability in rural and urban areas.
A pilot phase of it. We want to see within 1 month how it is going to be running, and it is not everyday thing, every week once, and then we see how many cases we are handling and how the cases can be diagnosed and rerouted to the relevant offices or state partner.
Persons living with disabilities encounter considerable obstacles in the bid to access justice. This despite Article 28 of Kenyan Constitution guaranteeing them access to effective justice on an equal basis with others. On his part, nominated Senator representing persons with disabilities Isaac Mwaura appealed to Kenyans to change their attitude towards people living with a disability, saying this is what has culminated to discrimination of people living with disabilities.
The general disdain that the society still has against persons with disabilities, that there are people who can be assisted, who cannot be their own agents, they don't have agency. And so access to justice is really to reclaim that agency, is to forestall any maladministration and discrimination, both direct, indirect and systemic, so as to ensure that people with disabilities do not miss their opportunity to inherit property, for example, to retain their property, and to be properly compensated when there is an injustice.
One of the terrible of the barriers is not even the physical built environment, it's attitude of society and communities toward these persons with an impairment. So we say, how can we, that is what has led to much more discrimination or prejudice.
Roughly about 21 persons living with different forms of disability turned up for the clinic at the NCPWD headquarters in Nairobi, hoping to get advice on their next course of action. With poverty and disability being more or less intertwined, persons living with a disability find it hard to afford a lawyer in their quest to access justice.
Many people come to me looking for legal assistance. And I refer them to the CAJ, who is a partner now in this program, and the National Legal Aid Program. Many cases, including the Advocates Complaints Tribunal or Committee, because sometimes they have been compensated, they can't access their compensation. Most of the time is to do with affording legal fees and good lawyers. But some of them basically don't even know, they are just starting out to speak for themselves. And so there is a power relation issue with regards to access to justice, issues to do with bidirectional covariance between poverty and disability.
The Legal Aid Initiative, which has been rolled out in Nairobi today, will be extended to counties of Mombasa, Kisumu, Nakuru, among others. Cases of violations of rights protecting people living with disabilities has surged in the country, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic season, a situation that has aroused altogether a cocktail of emotions among human rights organizations. However, the legal aid which has begun today in the country is expected to see chances of people living with disabilities getting their justice increase within a very short period of time, such a milestone in the country's bid to fight against the violations of rights protecting people living with disabilities. Mark Kimondo for Hope TV, Nairobi.